All right, prop the mic. PTM. We survived this crazy monsoon here in LA. I'm feeling ready to get back in the chair and podcast some NBA picks with you, my friend. But first, as always, today's podcast is presented by Props.cash. We 100% could not do what we do without Props.cash. So if you think you're ready to level up your prop betting game, use code PTM at sign up to get 25% off your first month. And remember, all of today's podcast picks will be posted in our VIP Discord immediately following the pod. What's up, Dave? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. Last night was a great night in the Discord. We got so many different channels in there now with different products, right? Between the different cheat sheets, the alt builders, the Q1s, the top plays. So there was a lot to keep track of, and we even launched a little NHL, right? Our guy Goliath Sports launched that yesterday with some good success there as well. NHL alt builder. So I feel good. I was really excited about the success last night, and hopefully we can repeat that again tonight.
Yeah, first night of NHL alt builders. He went 7-8 on the 8 picks. That's pretty sweet start there. So looking promising for shots on goal builders.
It was funny though. The accessibility of NHL data compared to NBA data is it's like night and day. Like we didn't even know if the game was over. We were trying to track this. Like, how FanDuel, when you place a bet, it shows you live progress for the player props for NBA. None of that exists for NHL. So you really gotta, if you're trying to keep track of this live, it's a bit of an art, but we'll figure it out. But anyway, just go play them blind because they're really good, and just sit back and cash those.
There we go.
All right, let's dive into today's NBA slate. We got, I think we got 7 games tonight, so it's kind of like a middle of the pack sized night. We'll hit up a little bit of everything on here. What I will say, just one more plug for the Discord. I leaned heavy today on the DVP, the defense versus positional matchups, and we do have a cheat sheet out in the Discord for that too. So I think that's a really good way of kind of starting your analysis. Start with the players that are in the best matchups, which is what we always do, and then go from there. Then look at trends and such on props.cash. So anyway, let's dive into the first one. We got the Rockets at the Pacers. Pacers are -8.5 at home. Total is a nice 242.5 in this game. I will say the first player that popped out on the model for me was Fred VanVleet. Point guards versus Indy are a really good matchup, especially scoring. And then I looked up and I noticed VanVleet is out tonight. So
I was going to say, I didn't see him on the list.
Yeah, he's out tonight. So I do have an alternative play there. But why don't you start? What's standing out for you in this game?
Do we get some? Jalen Green at point tonight, perhaps. We used to love those Jalen Green assists, those sneaky Jalen Green assist props last year, right?
Yeah, we should look at that because I was definitely contemplating playing his assist tonight, but I think Amen Thompson is playing point tonight, so I have a thought on him as well. But why don't you start? Give us your thoughts on this game.
All right. I got just one play from this game. It's been a little while since I played my boy Şengün, but I'm going with his assists here in this spot. 5.5 assists, -132 on FanDuel. He's cleared this in 7 of his last 11 games, averaging 6 assists per game. So just getting there. Indiana has allowed the 10th most assists per minute to bigs over the last month. You can see some nice comps here. Sabonis played them twice, had 7 and 10. Hartenstein just played recently, had 6. Nurkic 5 and 4 in 2 games. This is all just in the last month. Jokic 10 and 9. Jaren Jackson 4. KD 6. Al Horford 8. KP 7. That was in the same game. Actually, no, that wasn't in the same game. But Horford 8, KP 7, Kelly Olynyk had 4. So nice matchup for those playmaking bigs here against Indiana.
Yeah, that seems pretty good. I don't know what his track record is without VanVleet, but I would have to imagine. Let's just look at this year. So he played 2 games this season without VanVleet. He put up 4 against Denver and 10 against Boston. So hard to read into that, but let's just see the minutes. Let's make sure he played good minutes in both of those games. He only played 28 minutes in the one, and he played 36. So does seem like there could be a real good upside on his assists tonight with
I
Van
love that,
Vliet's 6,
Boston.
7, 8 assists out of the lineup. What do you think?
I love it. I love it. I mean, most of the offense runs through Şengün to begin with, and now you're eliminating like their point guard. You know, their starting point guard from this. So I think a Şengün ladder play could be in the works tonight. I like that. I didn't look at that split without Van Vliet. Well done, Dave.
Thank you, sir. All right, let me just talk about Amin Thompson really quick. Talk about his brother over in Detroit quite a bit, but he doesn't get as much playing time. But he has played 23 plus minutes 5 times this season, and this is what he's put up in terms of points. 2 of these games I think came against Boston. So he had 13 points, 19, 12, 10, and 15. So I don't know where his points line is going to be tonight. I really don't have a sense. I haven't really looked at him all season. I don't see props out for him, but I have to imagine as we get closer to the game, if he's starting, they're going to put something out for him. But if you find anything on him, I would say in the 12.5 point or lower range, I think that's a home run. I think with this matchup for point guards and him probably getting 25 to 30 minutes of playing time tonight, I think he'll get there. So let's keep an eye on him and see where they put his line out. But he's in a good spot tonight.
Yeah, shooting 58% on 2-pointers this season is pretty good. So in limited playing time, but yeah, if he gets out there, I like that quite a bit.
Great. All right, on the Indy side, I think Nesmith is in a pretty good spot here. Forwards versus Houston has been a top 5 matchup over the last month. His points and rebounds were both popping. So I wanted your opinion as to which of these you think is better. Let's just zoom in on his last 10 games. You could see he's been really scoring quite a bit over the last 10, especially over the last 7. So his points line is 14.5 plus 102. Looks like that's the best. It doesn't look like you can get it for 13.5 anywhere. And then his rebound line is 4.5. And he's actually even had a higher hit rate there. So if I had to lean one way or the other, I kind of liked his rebounds a little bit better. You are paying more juice for that. But what do you like either of these plays tonight, and which one would you like better?
Yeah, this is something ever since we were kind of put onto this a few games ago. I think maybe it was that Knicks game about his PRA, his PR. He's just been crushing lately. I might even lean to put them together and go with the 19.5 PR. Minus 106 on FanDuel. That seems pretty nice. Give yourself a little flexibility there. I like that play. That's nice.
Yeah, and if you look over his last 10 games, so again, this is a good matchup, but then if you just look over his recency, really over the last 8 games, he's played 31 minutes in 6 of the last 10 games. So if we just set this, this should be a fairly close game. I don't know. I'm hoping it'll stay competitive.
I think so.
But if you set his minutes to 31 over the course of this season, you could see, he's cleared in 6 out of 8 games. So I think this is a pretty good spot for PR, for points, for rebounds. So take whichever one you like the best.
Yeah. Nice.
All right.
Call out. Yep.
Next, we got the TNT game, the Mavs at the Nets. Nets are getting 2.5 at home. Total is 236.5. What do you like on this one?
Just a little play we were on. I think last week we gave out this Cam Johnson assists, and he hasn't let up since then. Over 2.5 assists. It's minus 135 on DK, but he's continued to clear this. He's cleared in 7 of his last 9 games, averaging 3.6 assists per game. Dallas over the last month has allowed the 9th most assists per minute to forwards. Nice comps here. Tobias Harris 6, Franz Wagner 6, Saddiq Bey 5, Julius Randle 5, Kyle Anderson 4 and 3, Harrison Barnes 3, Jalen Johnson 3, Herb Jones had 3 twice. So nice comps for Cam Johnson. He seems to be prioritizing playmaking a bit more here over the last 10 games or so. So let's go to Cam Johnson in a sneaky little assist spot.
Yeah, and let's not miss the narrative piece of this game, right? I think this is actually Kyrie's first game in Brooklyn.
Yes, I believe so.
Probably not the Mavs' first game in Brooklyn, but I think with Kyrie, all of his injuries, I looked back and it looked like they had played back in October in Dallas, I believe it was, but I think this is the first time Kyrie's going to be playing back in Brooklyn since he was traded. And it's not just Kyrie, right? You got a few others. You got Dorian Finney-Smith, right? Was there somebody else?
Yeah,
that was
Dinwiddie.
Dinwiddie, right? Yeah, Dinwiddie, of course. But anyway, I thought Kyrie was a good play here. Point guards versus Dallas is actually a pretty good matchup. Let's see. Are there any good comps of late? Yeah, so if you look at the assists, Tyrese Maxey had 7, Lillard had 8, Cole Anthony had 9, Trae Young at 11, and Peyton Pritchard at 6. So those are all, and Drew Holiday at 6. So those are all guys who have been kind of getting big assists. Kyrie's line is 5.5. He's done this in 5 of his last 6 games. I just think he's going to be amped up for this. We were talking about Durant when he came back to Brooklyn. He didn't really leave with the same animosity. That was kind of like a cordial parting. He was like, all right, you guys decided to break this thing down. Just send me to a competitor. Kyrie, not quite the same, right? He left with some bad taste in his mouth. Didn't have great feeling about the Nets. So I think he'll come back, look to crush. So I was looking at both his assists at 5.5 and his points at 24.5. You got a feeling on which of those you like better?
So interesting that you were looking there because I was looking at his rebounds. And if you could just click over to his RA over the last 10 games, because I thought this was interesting.
Wow.
Look at that chart. It actually extends one more game out. He's done this in 10 of his last 11 games, cleared this, averaging like 12.5 RA. So I think this is the play. I was on his rebounds. You were on his assists. I think we put them together and get a tremendous hit rate like this. Let's go for it.
Let's do it. I like that. Minus 136. Can we find it anywhere better?
Minus 120 on DraftKings.
Minus 120 on DraftKings. Love that. Yeah, I mean, I you know me. I'm probably in a camp of one, but I think that when players come back and they play against their old teams, them getting steals and them getting rebounds are 2 things that they have a lot of control over, right? Because those are 2 hustle stats. So I do think he's going to be shooting a lot tonight, but I do think his assists are a really good spot based on his position, and then the rebounds he'll get from hustling. So 10.5 RA combined play. We're going with it. Bam, in the books.
Click on his steals. Just leave that split open and click on his steals if you wanted to juice that up. Talking about hustle stats, he's been pretty money. He's been pretty money lately on the steals too. 8 of his last 15, 7 of his last 10. That's clearing 2. That's getting to 2 steals. So you put him at actually, I don't know if you could parlay those together often. No, I guess you can.
Yeah, I think you can. Certainly on FanDuel, I think you could choose like even 1 steal if you wanted, which would be like, low odds, probably minus 300 or something like that, and maybe tack that on to one of the other plays that we said. So yeah, I like that. I think this is a great look. I think he's gonna dominate tonight in Brooklyn.
Yeah. All right. Very nice.
All right, Magic at the Heat. Heat are minus 3.5 at home. Total is a pathetic 212.5 in this game. Please tell me you don't have a lot of plays in this game, because
I got one. I just have one play in this game.
This game is just going to be trash. I mean, they're 2 good teams, but they're just the pace of play and like the defensive mindset of the 2. It could be competitive, but it's not going to be a good game for a lot of high overs. So what do you like?
I just like Markelle Fultz, 3.5 assists. You can get it for plus money everywhere, basically plus 120 on FanDuel. I just want to point out, I think 3 assists is a nice leg to a builder if you wanted to bring that down a bit and still get some decent odds. So keep that in mind. But I like his straight 3.5 assists plus 120. He's done this in 5 of his last 6 games when he's played 23 plus minutes. He did play 29 minutes against Miami on January 21st, had 4 assists in that game. So I think his minutes will be, he's a little up and down, but I think starting to trend back up after missing some time. I like the comps, though. So if you look at some of the guys lately, Jordan Poole just had 10 assists against Miami on the same 3.5 assist line. Jalen Brunson, 8 assists on a line of 5.5. Emmanuel Quickly, 9 assists on a line of 3.5, the same 3.5 line like Fultz has tonight. And then if you remember that game against the Grizzlies, you had Giard and Pippen combined for 13 assists in that game. So I think Fultz can get to 4 assists in this one, despite the low total. Yeah,
I like that. That's a good play. Nothing crazy. You didn't give me like a 25-point prop on Bencaro or anything. This is good. 4 assists seems very doable and 212 points of scoring.
Yes.
All right. Just leans popped out in the model. We had Richardson on the Heat, combo guard. His scoring is in a good matchup, and then Gary Harris, a wing. On Orlando, rebounds and assists, those were both popping, but neither of those props were out. So when I was looking earlier, so just note those, and maybe if those props come out closer to game time, you can jump on those.
Nice.
All right, now we got a very interesting game here. We got the Grizzlies, who look like they've depleted their entire bench and are now dipping deep into the developmental league here. I think they have like 12
players you never even heard of.
Yeah,
it's wild.
It's really wild. They just have had horrible luck. I feel bad for the guy who's the athletic trainer there because he's gone after this season if he's not gone already, or she. But anyway, Grizzlies are playing the Knicks. They come into New York. This is about as bad of a matchup as they could possibly get. Knicks are minus 14.5 at home. They should be set to absolutely destroy the Grizzlies, which makes me nervous about this game because I think this one could get away very quickly. 212 points again in this game. What do you like in this one?
I just had one play in this game as well. I loved what I saw from our boy Precious recently. I like his rebounds, over 9.5 rebounds, minus 130 on DK. Also, I do like his double-double tonight, plus 125 on FanDuel. I thought it was a nice value there in his double-double. But you could see look at his minutes. They're just up big time. Tibbs just loves this guy. He does his damage a lot on the offensive glass. Look at those. Look at the minutes over his last. Look at that.
Yeah, but because he doesn't have OG, right? So Tibbs has to play somebody 40 minutes a game. So he's like, I guess this is his new guy while OG is out.
Yep. So like I said, he does a lot of his damage on the offensive glass. In his last 2 games, half of his rebounds have come on offensive boards. That includes his 16 rebound game against the Pacers. He had 8 defensive rebounds, 8 offensive rebounds, and 4 and 4 in the game against the Lakers. Memphis has allowed the 7th most rebounds per minute to bigs over the last month. But here's where the nice mismatch comes in. Knicks are the #1 offensive rebounding team in the league. Memphis, bottom 10 defensive rebounding team. So huge. You got a team that's great on the offensive glass against a team who's bottom 10 grabbing defensive boards. So I love this matchup for Precious tonight. I think he's good for 10. And if you toggle over to his points, you'll see I think the double-double is also in play here. You see the last 3 games, 10, 12, 18, since he got some extended run. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the first of all, he's starting now, I believe.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big reason why he's getting those minutes. And second of all, the front court is depleted for the Knicks too. So while the Grizzlies are completely decimated, the Knicks are pretty thin as well, right? So they got Hartenstein and Precious starting in the front court with OG and Randall out, right? And obviously Mitchell Robinson as well. So. I think this is a good spot. I think, and I would have to think that if this game does get away, of all the starters, he's probably the one that they're going to, I would also imagine maybe Jericho Sims will get some good run as well. So
If it's a blowout, yeah.
if it's a blowout, so he might be worth a live play as well. But just keep an eye on this one. All right. I think Brunson is in a tremendous spot, but remember we felt uncomfortable with when his line was going from 23.5 to 24.5 to 27.5. It's 32.5 points tonight.
Crazy.
It's crazy, right? But look what he's done over the last 10 games, right? He's scored 36 plus points in 4 of the last 10 games. The ones that he's missing, he is getting to 30. He's only scored less than 30 points in 2 of the last 10 games. I think the absence of Randall really opens up a ton of shots for this guy. So I have 2 ways to play Brunson tonight. First is I'm a little scared about him getting to 33. So I do think he'll get to 30 tonight. So keep that in mind. I have another person to pair this with later in a future game we're going to talk about. So okay. Brunson 30 points is the first leg of a 2-leg parlay. That's about plus I think we got like plus 150 odds on that one. And the other is to play a first quarter play. So Brunson's first quarter line, so we can look at that on props.cash. Over the last 10 games, his first quarter line is perfectly priced at 8.5, right? So he's just not really getting to 9 points. But if we take him down to 8 points, which is an option on DraftKings, you can see his hit rate over the last 8 games is 6 out of 8. So I think 8 points is a really nice spot for him in the first quarter, especially if you look over the last 7 games. His minutes in the first quarter, in the absence of Randall, who pretty much would play the whole first quarter, moved from about 8 minutes up to closer to 10, 11, 12, right? So I think this is a really good spot for Brunson to get 8 points. And if he's scoring 8 points in the first quarter against this Memphis team, the odds are that the Knicks are going to win the first quarter as well. So what I'm suggesting is take Brunson 8 points on DraftKings, pair it with Knicks first quarter money line. You get that for minus 115.
I like that much better than the 30 points on the full game. That would be my lean big time. This is my concern on the 30 points. Just over the last couple of weeks, Donovan Mitchell held to 25, Steph 20, De'Aaron Fox 23, Ant 28, Kobe White 17. All great comps there for Brunson, especially those first 3 I named. All held in check. Probably, I don't know if it's because of blowouts. I didn't have time to dig further into it, but those are that scares me a little bit about the 30. So I like this first quarter play.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was scared. I mean, certainly scared about 32.5. So yeah. All right. So we'll pass on the full game prop just to hedge against this major blowout potentially. But I think he's good for 10 to 11 points, 10 to 11 minutes in the first quarter. So let's take advantage of that.
Love that.
All right.
I love that. Yep.
All right. Let's go on.
Hold on. Before we had a question from Brandon Wong on X asking about Hartenstein, 13.5 RA tonight.
Let's take a look. I was very intrigued by his rebounds tonight because this guy is just a rebounding machine. Again, I was afraid of his minutes. So, if you look over the last couple games, he's clearing it when he plays, 28 plus minutes. He doesn't get there when he plays less than that. So my concern is that they would probably end up benching him for the fourth quarter. But I mean, he's putting up 12, 19, 15 rebounds. And then if you look at the assists, the other half of that question, he has some pretty big assist games. So what do you think? Would you play this? Would you risk it?
I just felt like obviously I ended up going with Precious. I looked at Hartenstein. I just felt like I don't know, given the way the game script, right, that I feel like it's probably gonna start to get away from the Grizzlies there. I could see Precious playing some more of those minutes. So I don't know. They're both probably good. I mean, you saw that game against the Pacers. Like all three, Josh Hart had double-digit rebounds too in that game. So is it possible? Yeah, but it's not a super high line, right? It's not going to be a very fast-paced game. So I don't know. My lean's Precious. But
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, if you have this burning desire to play Hartenstein, you could also attack maybe his first quarter rebounds. You can maybe tack that into the Brunson 8 points, Knicks money line, and maybe put Hartenstein at 3 rebounds in the first quarter, which he seems to get a lot. I would like to understand this because he was only playing 5-6 minutes here, but his minutes do seem to be on the rise in the first quarter. So
I mean, that was when we had OG and
Right.
Julius were there. So
yeah, I would think he'll get probably 8+ minutes in the first quarter tonight. So that's another way to attack. But I do like Brunson first quarter. Better
the
if you're gonna
212 with a 15-point spread is scary.
That's very scary.
Yeah.
It means one team's scoring a lot and the other team's not scoring at all. If you looked in the Discord, we have a cheat sheet that focuses on first quarter props, team total props as well, which we used to put out on X months ago, and then we had a bunch of people ask for it again, so we started to put it out in the Discord. Memphis's first quarter team total today was 23.5 points. I have never seen the lowest I had seen before today was 25.5. Wow. 23.5 points, and they haven't cleared it in the last 2 games. I think they put up like 20 and 18, or I don't know, something like that. So this is a minor league team that's playing tonight. So
yeah.
All right, I think we said enough about that one. Let's move on. We got the T-Wolves at the Bulls. Bulls are plus 5.5 at home. Total is also not that high in this one, 216.5. Did you have anything in this game? I think you did not, right?
I didn't have anything in this game, no.
All right. The one player, I think McDaniels is a wing, right? If I'm correct, he was popping out for assist and rebounding. Kind of his assists were popping out more, but I kind of started looking at him and got into his rebounds. I thought his rebounds looked really appealing at 2.5 rebounds.
Yeah, look at that.
Over the last 10 games, he's cleared in 8 out of his last 10. Let's see. The best you can get it for is minus 154 on Caesar. So this is definitely not a standalone play, but it's a pretty good play if you parlay this with something else. I think you get a really good bet out of that one. He's done this in 13 straight games with 29 minutes. So if we let's just look at his last 15 games, right? He's pretty much getting there almost every game. I think this is a game where he will play high 20s in his minutes. If you just look over his last 10 games, most of these games he's getting 30 minutes, right? 29 plus minutes. Game against Dallas, game against OKC, he did not. But other than that, all these games he's getting 30 plus minutes, and he's cleared in 13 straight games with 29 plus minutes. So I think that's a good leg for a parlay. The other guy who I thought was interesting, this is a guy you love to talk about, but you haven't talked about him in a while.
So funny are you looking at his assists right now?
No, I was actually looking at his points.
Oh, okay.
I think his assists are good too, but 5.5 points just seem low for Nickeil Alexander-Walker. He's done this in 10 of his last 11 games when he plays 20 plus minutes. But forget even the minutes filter. You can just look at the screen. He's pretty much getting there almost every game. So maybe that's what you pair this with. Maybe if it's available, maybe even take this down to 5 points and you pair that with McDaniels at 2.5 rebounds. You get 2 super low lines together in a 216-point game and probably get plus money on that. What do you think?
Yeah, I like that. I was actually the one play it was because it was popping on the model was his assist, but not readily available. I think I only see it here at BetMGM at minus 185. Thought that was a nice play. I was gonna suggest popping that, pairing that with McDaniels. 2 assists, 3 rebounds. But yeah, I think the points is more readily available, and SGA's Cousins got to be good for 6 points tonight, right?
Yeah, and if he's not, we'll take him at 5. So 5 5 points for him, 3 rebounds for McDaniels. Should be plus money. We'll put that out later in the Discord so you guys can see what that comes out to. All right.
All right. Yep.
All right. Let's go. Thunder at the Jazz. Jazz get 3.5 at home. Totals 240.5. So we're finally back to a legitimate high scoring game. What do you like in this one?
I'm going with Chet. He's a little up and down, but I'm believing in Chet tonight. Over 17.5 points, minus 125 on FanDuel. Love the matchup. Utah's allowed the 3rd most points per minute to bigs over the last month. Bobby Portis, 27, and Giannis, 33 in the same game. Hartenstein and Precious, 14 and 18 in the same game. PJ Washington, 43 in the same game that Nick Richards had 26. Marvin Bagley, 14. Daniel Gafford, 13. Kyle Kuzma, 26. Also all in the same game. Those are like the last 4 games that have been played against Utah. So I think it's a great spot for Chet. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it always surprises me that Utah is poor defensively against the center.
I know.
When they have Lauri Markkanen, a 7-footer playing power forward, and what's his name, Walker Kessler, who's one of the better like defending centers in the league. But the problem is Kessler plays 14 minutes, and they start John Collins at center instead, who's what, 6'8", right? So you got Chet, who's what is Chet, 7'2" or something like that,
7'2",
yeah, giant, gonna tower over Collins, which might force Walker Kessler to get more minutes tonight. I don't know. I loved Chet tonight, but I'm struggling with his home away splits. If you just look over the last 10 games, he's averaging 17.6 at on the season, he's averaging 17.6 at home, and he's averaging 16 away. So I don't know what, I mean, I guess he's technically a rookie.
He is.
I'm a little worried about his performance on the road. I would feel much more comfortable taking this down to like 15 and playing with something else, but it is a really good matchup, and he, is coming off of a 22-point game, which was in double overtime. So maybe he's got a little momentum from there. So yeah, Chet, I think points is good. I think Chet assists was also popping as well at 2.5. You can look, that's had a much higher hit rate over the last 15 games. So that might be another spot as well to play.
All right.
One spot that is popping in the model against OKC is centers rebounding. So I wanted your thoughts. I think one of these two guys is a really good cash tonight, whether it's Kessler at 6.5 rebounds, or if we go back to our guy John Collins at 7.5 rebounds. Which way would you lean on these two?
I like your thought that Kessler will get some more minutes tonight in the matchup with Chet. I think that makes a whole lot of sense. So I would probably and Collins is going to be way too undersized for this matchup. So yeah, I like that game script. I would lean Kessler.
Yeah, if you look in the last game, Collins played a lot of minutes through the first 3 quarters, and then I think if we look at the 4th quarter,
he's not in that closing unit.
He didn't play. He didn't play because they were playing really well. They were coming back against Milwaukee, and Walker Kessler was playing really well. Look at that. Kessler ended up playing 26 minutes in that game. That's the highest he's played in like 2 weeks. So yeah, I like that. I think if I had to lean one way or the other, Walker Kessler, but honestly, the Jazz are like tough to bet on because it's like they play like a different lineup every single game. So it's really hard to use historicals. You got two guys who both could cash. So whichever one you're feeling, I think they're both good plays, but we're going to go with Kessler tonight at 6.5 rebounds.
Sounds good. I would say just looking at Cleaning the Glass here, like the advanced stats on Kessler's rebounding, much higher percentiles than Collins. He's just the overall, more elite rebounder. So let's go. Let's stick with Kessler.
Just minutes, man. If he's out there for 20 something minutes, this is a cash. So let's just hope he gets some minutes tonight.
And you saw when they needed him to guard Giannis in that game against Milwaukee, right? So then he was out there playing extra minutes, and I think the same could be said for Chet here tonight. So
yeah. Beautiful. All right, let's wrap it up. We got the Bucks, the second TNT game. We got the Bucks at the Suns. Suns are minus 3.5 at home, and the total is nice, 243.5 on this one. What do you like in this game?
I actually got 3 plays for this
Ooh.
game. I really like this game quite a bit. I love the this is like 2 teams, in the mix here. You got Doc Rivers, his first couple of games with Milwaukee, playing Phoenix. I don't know. I really love this game. I love a Bradley Beal, Damian Lillard, scoring ping pong here. So let's start with Beal. Over 19.5 points, minus 105 on DK. If you look at the whole do you have any splits on there? No. Go back to his points, like going back to last season too. So I kind of like this where you see like he has like some clusters of high scoring output, right? And he's down for a few games. So I just feel like coming off that 43 points the other day, he's going to be feeling good. He gets a Milwaukee team. They've had trouble defending guards all season. Now they have to deal with Booker and Beal in this game. I just think he's going to be riding high. I think he's good for 20 points here. Anthony Simons just had 24. Donovan Mitchell has played 3 times in the last month, 32, 23, and 31. Alec Burks dropped 33 on them. Colin Sexton, 19. Jamal Murray, 35. Marcus Sasser, 23. Beal is good for 20 points in this game. He's going to be riding high off that Saturday game against Washington in a nice matchup. I love it.
Okay. All right. What's your next play?
Not feeling Beal.
You wanted more excitement from that?
I did.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's a momentum
up and down for you.
It's a momentum play, right? Like, and I personally will stay away probably for the rest of the season for the most part, unless there's a great spot from Booker, from Beal, from KD, because any of them,
know who it's gonna.
Any of them can go off in a night. But if there's a spot to ride, I think Beal is definitely feeling it, and we'll probably get some good volume up tonight. So, and it's a good matchup. So I do think he's probably the one to play. But yeah, I like to see a little bit of a longer trend around that.
Yeah.
But anyway. Let's hear your next. Let's see if you can impress me with your next pick.
Okay. And then I like Dame on the other side. It just feels this 23.5 points, minus 120 on FanDuel. This to me just feels like a game that Dame will get up for. And the guard matchup against Phoenix is pretty good. Over the last month, De'Aaron Fox put up 33, Scoot Henderson 33, Trae Young 32, Anthony Simons 28, Kobe White 26, Cam Thomas 25, Marcus Smart 25. Come on, Dame's gonna do this tonight.
Feels that way.
Yeah,
I do like that play. I like his points. I also liked his assists tonight. Seems to be creeping up. You get it at 6.5. I would love it at 5.5 if it's available anywhere now. So I think those are both good plays, both his points and assists tonight. So let's go with Dame on that side. Right. You have a third player, you said?
I do. I'm going to be riding the Giannis playmaking hot streak here. Over 6.5 assists, minus 125 on DK. He's just been on a tear lately. 7 of his last 10 overall, averaging 8.3 assists per game. On the season, he is assisting on 30% of Milwaukee's made shots. It's in the 97th percentile. So he's been great on the whole season, and it's even gotten better lately. You look at some good comps for Giannis. Banchero just had 7, Siakam 7, Sabonis 11, LeBron 9, Franz Wagner 7. Great comps for Giannis in the assist department for forwards. I love it.
Yeah, it almost feels like if you're feeling this, you might as well just play his triple double too, right? I mean, he's gotten 9 or 10 assists in, what is that, 7 of the last 10 games.
I could see that. I could see a LeBron triple double in this game for sure.
Yeah, I think you think there's a little part of him that, like, now that that Embiid is pretty much out of contention for the MVP, that he's like thinking, hey, like maybe I can get it again.
Maybe. I also think Jokic at minus 150 is a tremendous value.
That does seem like I mean, at some point he's going to get robbed because they don't want to keep giving it to the same guy. So,
Well, I think what's gonna what would happen this year is the voters feel like they robbed him actually last year and he actually deserved it, and he'll end up getting it this year. So I love that MVP on him at -150.
Yeah, no, but I like Giannis tonight for 7 assists, and I think it's probably worth going for like 9 or 10 or the triple double. I think those are all good.
Let's see what the triple double is. Let's say triple double Giannis +700. Very nice.
Wow. So in these games where he's getting there, is he getting the rebounds? Yeah, look at that. The last 3 games, we've been. I think it was this Portland game that we had him for 8 rebounds in the in one of the builders, and that was just painful to watch. But he finally got there like towards the end of the game. But I do notice his rebounding is down. But this feels like a game where he's going to.
We had him in that Utah game, the RA, and he luckily had 13 assists, or otherwise he wouldn't have gotten there with the only 7 rebounds in that game. So.
All right, so let's sprinkle a little on Giannis triple double. Let's see if we can get there now.
Yeah, I like that. That's nice. Nice long shot.
All right, cool. I think
that's anything else for this game.
Nah, that's all I got.
Oh, no. All right. That was good. Went a little bit long, but a bunch of games. So we will get these picks up in the Discord. Thanks everyone for joining. Not a ton of comments today, but please keep them coming, and everyone enjoy the games, and let's all make some money tonight.